Hey guys, it's Kelly with the Garden Whisperer. If you're unfamiliar with what I do, I design flower beds and garden beds for homeowners where they can either install it themselves or they can hire a landscaper of their choosing to design it for them according to the design plans. So today's video is on if your trees or shrubs are not doing well and you kind of are not sure why. Maybe the needles are turning brown and falling off, or the leaves are turning yellow and falling off, or they just look crinkly and brown, or they're drooping. It could be because of a lack of water. So when you're first planting a new tree, this is a fir that I bought. Isn't that so pretty? It's a blue cloak white fir. Gorgeous. And I have a stake kind of just giving it a little bit of support because it is a naturally somewhat weeping type of fir. But I think it's just so pretty. And I actually think it's been in the ground maybe about a week now. And I actually think it has already grown some. And this is an intermediate growing fir. So it's not extremely fast growing, but it's also not slow. And I think it grows from like 6 to 12 inches a year, maybe. Unlike junipers, which grow really fast, but it's still a relatively fast growing fir. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. So I planted this about a week ago, and I noticed when I was watering it, because even though I amended this hole with tons of compost, we have so much clay out here and dry, just hard rock and hard, dry clay soil, that every time it rained or I watered it, the water was kind of rolling off, going this way, and it wasn't really penetrating in down below, because you want water when you're watering trees or shrubs or even perennials, plants, to make sure that the water gets down to the root system. And I noticed it wasn't really doing that because it kept running off the water. So what I did was I took my shovel and I just dug around the plant and did like a little moat. And I dug a hole, and then I just fill that with water. And I usually fill with a whole bucket of these, maybe sometimes even 2 buckets. I just got this at Lowe's. It's a Lowe's bucket. So I fill the whole thing up and I just pour the water right in the hole, let it drain. And that I usually do, like I said, about 2 buckets, and that should be about enough to get deep enough for the roots to be able to get the water that they need. When you're planting new trees and shrubs and even perennials, you should water them at least twice a week for the first month, and then once a week every month thereafter for the first year minimum. Because a lot of times, yeah, if they're not getting enough water, they're going to start to crinkle up, dry out, and pretty much die off. I had a customer once that had planted trees, and he had no idea why the tree looked brown and dry and was losing its needles. And then I asked him if he was watering on a regular basis because it was a smaller tree like this. And he's like, no, I'm just letting Mother Nature do it. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I had to explain to him that anything that's new, you have to water for the first season, twice a week for the first month, and once a week every month thereafter for the first season. And then once you do that, then they can get pretty much established. And then, Mother Nature then can take care of it if you get decent amount of rain. But of course, like anything, if you're not getting enough rain, then you definitely would have to, water every so often or every week at least during the dry periods. But so anyway, so this basically, like I said, it holds the water so it doesn't run off. It's kind of like a little moat. And you can also do what's called a berm, where I didn't do it with this because it was already planted, but you can actually dig around the root ball and then just bring the outside edges higher up when you're planting it. But I didn't do that with this one, so it's all good because it still holds the water where I want it, gets down to the root ball, and that's all that matters. And like I said, what else did I want to say? There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, and the other thing you can do is, There's another way you can get the water down deep so the roots grow downward instead of up. Is you get like I'm going to say probably a 5-inch in diameter PVC pipe, and you put it in the hole before you fill all the soil back in, so that the bottom of the PVC pipe is down to the bottom of the hole and the top of the PVC pipe is above ground level. And then you fill the soil back in, and then all you have to do is just pour water down that pipe twice a week. And like I said, you could probably do a bucket or 2 buckets of that, and that also will give enough water for the roots as well. So, oh, and the other thing, one last thing is, and I've seen this, whatever you do, do not build the mulch volcano around your tree, around the base of your tree. And that is basically when somebody puts mulch up all the way around and covers the root flare. Because if you saw my other video, this is the root flare. This, that has to be above ground, and it has to be above mulch, because otherwise the tree, just like people, will not get enough oxygen, and the roots need oxygen. So if you cover that with a mulch volcano, which some people are like putting mulch all the way up here and just mounding it and covering the entire trunk, you don't want to do that. That's also going to promote too much moisture and could cause root rot and just a big mess and disaster for your newly planted trees and shrubs, or even existing ones. So you never want to put more than 2 to 3 inches of mulch around the base of any plants. And for trees and shrubs, you still don't want to go right up against the trunk. So I usually just do the mulch from like here around and then out, and only about 2 to 3 inches. That's the max you want to do. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I just wanted to show you know, if you're having trouble growing trees or shrubs and you're not understanding why, water deprivation could be it. So just make sure that you water your trees, shrubs, and perennials when they're newly planted twice a week for the first month, once a week every month thereafter for the first season. And that's it. Guys, that's my educational video for today. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're interested in hiring my design services, you can contact me at www.the-garden-whisperer.com. And until my next video, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Happy gardening. Bye.